I went to Planned Parenthood with 2 other Paladin staff members, and I found out that I was 5 weeks pregnant. And when I finally did tell her, my mom kicked me out of my house. I was going house to house, place to place, basically couch hopping.
I've spent the last year and still am, on the streets, bumping from couch to couch. I was sleeping in parking ramps and in people's garages, and I lived at my buddy's house. He was shooting up heroin every day for 2 months straight.
I was 12 to 13 years old when I was moving house to house. I didn't have a place to go at the moment, so I found the nearest park near a friend's house of mine, and I stayed in that park for about 3 weeks. I mean, where do you go when neither your dad or your mom wants you or any other family does want you? So you feel kind of trapped. Like, I felt as if life didn't matter. I felt in a moment where if I didn't bring myself out of this hole, I was going to stay in this hole and dig even deeper in it. So
I've stayed at the bus stop here at Northtown Mall to sit there and get to school. I've seen other students that are in the same situation as myself staying there as well, so we kind of kept each other company and talked and everything throughout the night, so at least I wasn't staying alone.
Where'd you sleep last night? Well, my dad threw me out of the house. What? Your dad threw you out of the house? What did you do? He said I walked 3 miles to my friend's house. That should never be. How can you have a child walk 3 miles to their friend's house and still they're here at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, ready to go to school?
This year I feel that a lot of families are struggling economically, and we're seeing that here. We've had a spike in our homeless student population, and it's been a very difficult year with that. And I think we're very keen to that, and we help students with housing and finding a place to live.
Through Paladin, I was able to meet a lovely family that took me in for a while till I was done with school and move on with my life and all that to get myself together.
We have a hotel. And if you have to be put up in a hotel for a week, if you have to be put up in a hotel for a month until we can find you permanent housing, then that's what we're going to do. That's the purpose of the hotel.
They helped me for a while. They stuck me in a hotel for a few weeks, and that was nice just because I had somewhere warm and nice to stay during the winter months.
Well, I really appreciate, the help between Paladin and United Methodist Church of Anoka for helping me get this place so I can focus on getting my degree and, getting, like a job and stable things, until I can take care of myself.
What school truly pays for so many different needs that the kids have to have addressed? And I say Paladin does.
When I started drinking, I was in 8th grade, and that's when I became an alcoholic. 9th grade is when I started smoking weed, and 10th grade is when I was addicted to meth.
I started getting into drugs, more pills at the time, and it turned into mushrooms and meth and powdered cocaine, other certain white powders, probably I didn't even know what they were, and started to drink, but drinking was never my thing. It was more smoking weed. Never did I think meth would be so addicting. Everyone says it, but it is.
I've experimented with synthetic heroin, synthetic meth, bath salts, pills of all forms, synthetic marijuana. Marijuana was my DOC. It's brought me down hard paths of overdoses, hospitals, psych evaluations,
First time I ever got drunk, I was 13 or 14 years old, and by the time I was 16, almost 17, I became an alcoholic where, you know, me and my buddy would sit there and get a 175. For those who don't know what that is almost 2 liters of alcohol, and we would drink that every day. Like, I want something more for my life than just the bottle and just the room. Like, instead of going through life just existing, I would be working towards, you know, making my life go to where it needs to be and where I want it to be, instead of just going through life, you know, just doing the same things every day.
I ran a small support group. We didn't call it chemical dependency group. We called it a support group. We met once a week, and we talked about the struggles of being a high school student and peer pressure and partying and how to maintain that sobriety.
After my parents split, I moved from being with my mom to my dad, and because I felt like he just kind of needed me because he wasn't doing so well because he has diabetes, and he is a drug addict and an alcoholic, and when he is on his drugs, and he was smoking a lot of pot and doing meth and drugs like that, and he was very, I don't even know how to say it, just mean and abusive. And I went to church to sing in the choir, and I was so proud because singing was what I loved to do, and my dad was proud. And then I showed up from spending the night at my mom's house that morning to sing at the choir, and I put highlights in my hair because my hair was blonde, and he absolutely went berserk. He wasn't happy that I did a good job at singing. I went and sat next to him in the pew at the church, and he just said, "I'm so disappointed in you," cussing and swearing at me, telling me that I was worthless. And then we got out to the car, and it was not even before we got out of the parking lot before he started hitting me and saying that he wished he could kill me and leave me bloody because I'm a horrible kid and I never do what he says. He gave me my phone at the gas station and said, "Call your mom and tell her you can never talk to her again." And so I called my mom and I said, "Mom, I'm scared. Can you please come get me?" And I didn't know what to do. I was just really scared because I knew that if he had the chance to do it, he probably would have.
I was about 4 years old. My dad locked me and my brothers in a house and started it on fire. And I mean, we got out safely, you know, but then that's kind of when my mom realized that she needs to do something differently because her drug addiction was really just taking over her.
My mother passed away when I was 7, and then the week after my dad left, and it was just really hard to lose both my parents at the same time.
I was scared of my dad, so I went with my mom. My brother and my sister were much older, so they kind of hopped between both places. And when I was very young, my brother molested me. And after that happened, he was hospitalized. Numerous men, thinking that they could control me, controlled me. And that messed with my school. It gave me depression, anxiety. They beat me. They threatened to kill me. They made all my friends hate me. They singled me out so I would be easier for them to get to.
Sometimes people will say that just get over it, but how do you get over that kind of pain and that kind of trauma? But when our children are bleeding here in their hearts and in their spirits, we have to figure out different ways to support them and help sustain who they're being.
I was very into school because I wanted my parents' attention. I wanted them to say how smart I was in school and give me awards or tell me, "Oh, you know, you're an excellent daughter" or something, but I never had that. So the more I did work and they didn't pay attention, I stopped. I was having D's, even failing classes because I didn't care. I was like, well, if my parents don't appreciate it, why should I? Why should I care about something that people that made me, gave birth to me, don't even care about?
I started taking care of my mom way back when I was in elementary school. I mean, I cleaned the house, I made my own food, I've made food for her, I walked myself to and from the bus stop. I ended up throwing my mom in treatment about 1.5 years ago.
I got pregnant when I was 17, maybe 16, almost 17. Her name is Aaliyah. She's 7 months. When she was 2 months old, her father shook her twice and she had to be hospitalized. I almost lost her, and I suffered from depression after it all happened, and I lost a little bit of my bond with her because I was so depressed I didn't want to do anything.
Not too long ago, there was that Chris Brown and Rihanna incident, and that kind of sparked a lot of conversations here about healthy relationships. We saw a need. So what do? We ran a healthy relationships group that, again, met weekly.
I always want to make sure that Aaliyah is happy and that she always has somebody there for her. Because my parents were in and out of my life, and I know how important it is to have somebody there all the time. And I just want her to have that, and to be successful, I'll do whatever it takes.
I had the problem of being bullied throughout my whole life because I am gay, and bullying was really, really tough in middle school.
When the bullying started, I was about 10 years old. Million different reasons. I was really small, little, short, skinny. People started figuring out that I liked girls. I wasn't the, straight A student.
When the little things are said, they get in your head and then they stay there, and then they just make you think, like, if you're a bad person or if you're doing something wrong.
I got pushed around in the hallways because I was so small. I've had things thrown at me. I've had people come up and hit me for no reason.
I think what Paladin offers really is hope for a lot of young people that have been shut off by mainstream education.
I couldn't take regular high school anymore. I couldn't stand the people, couldn't stand the crowds. I was fed up with everyone.
I usually get kicked out of school for anger problems because I used to be an angry child growing up. And the other schools I went to, like, if I'm like, I'd be stuck on something, and then I asked teachers for help and they never helped. So that even made me even angrier.
I used to want to fight all the time. I had an attitude. If you said go left, I'm going to snap on you like, who you talking to like that? Nah, I'm going to go right. That's just how I was.
If I got one more referral, I was going to get expelled. So, but I felt like I was getting a lot of referrals for dumb stuff. Like, Deja told the teacher that she wasn't learning anything. So I got a referral for that. Or Deja got mad because a boy called her or said the N-word. So Deja got in trouble for it because I reacted.
I got in a lot of fights, a lot of trouble, and the teachers soon gave up. Just like everyone just gave up on me.
At Paladin Academy, because we're so small and such a small program, we're able to adapt and be flexible with that student need. We do an awesome job of getting to know all of our students. We build that relationship with them, and I think that's one thing that they're not getting at other programs around here. On a daily basis, I see anywhere from 10 to 20 students every single day to talk about what's going on at home, what's going on in school. I'll check with them, hey Joe, how's it going? Like, what do you think so far about our program? Oh, I love it. Well, why is it? How are we different? Well, you know my name. I don't got to repeat my name to this teacher every single class period. And not only do we know the students' names, I know their brothers, their sisters. There's a good chance I drove them home because I'm the driver.
I heard about Paladin Academy because my friends came here last year, and they told me it was way more supportive of kids who need that extra something.
I think the reason why I'm not so angry here is because it's a smaller environment and everybody here is loving, kind, and sweet.
Again, because of the ratio of students to staff, we have the ability to connect with each one of our students really on a one-to-one basis. And it allows us as staff to really delve a little bit deeper into the personalities and into the thoughts of what the young people need.
I just think this is absolutely a great place for people that feel like they can't fit in a regular high school, because there's kids here that can relate to you, and there's teachers here that can relate to you, and there's people here that want to help you.
I've never had support really anywhere, and being here with all the supportive staff and them building relationships with the students and wanting to know about them and caring,
actually caring about who they are and who they want to be.
But we want to be a school that recognizes the difficulty that they face on a day-to-day battle. And as you're well aware, that deals with drugs, that deals with drinking, that deals with the conflict with the police departments. But we accept that challenge because if we can move them from that life, we've made a huge success.
But no matter what we have gone through, no matter how hard their lives may be or have been, they are still somebody. And how do we really get youth to understand how very important they are? We start from the core.
But if you give them advice just as friend to friend, maybe then you can actually help them. Maybe you can actually understand why they're not focused on their homework, why they're not passing or graduating when they only have half a credit left.
If they have barriers at home, they're going to still have those barriers once they get here at Paladin too.
People here, they're just so nice and they're so caring. Like even the students, like you get in fights with people, but the next day it's just like, you know, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I know you're going through tough stuff at home. Like, let's be friends, you know, let's talk about this. And it's just amazing, the connection that we have here.
I'm not the only one that's going through things, and most of the other students here have their own story, and I find it way more manageable because everyone has their background and everyone knows that.
No kid feel they're better than nobody, if you ask me. You know, no kids walk around here like they're just King Tut, you know, don't gotta say nothing to nobody because they're the best. I think everybody gets along, and I get along with everybody.
With how lenient they are here, I take my education more serious because basically they leave it up to me. It's my choice to graduate. If I don't want to come, they're not gonna come drag me out of bed by my ear and be like, you have to be here, it's your education.
Paladin works well with me because they let you make your own decisions. Like, they don't pressure you to do something. If you don't do it, then it's on you. It's if you want to graduate, only you can make that happen. You know, they here to help you, but if you don't want help, then, you know, then they leave it up to you to make your own decisions.
They help you build yourself up. They open opportunities for you. And I knew that that was the best thing I needed. Because where are you without your education? And this place is probably the best place I've ever been to. Everywhere I go, I tell people about Paladin Academy.
You know, the majority of our students here are basically, you know, what I call throwaway kids. And what I mean by that is a lot of them have basically just been told that, you know, I don't think you're going to amount to anything. I don't think you'll never graduate high school. You know, you can barely read.
And all of them are at different levels. Some of them are dealing with mental illness. Some of them are dealing with behavior issues. Some of them are ADHD. You know, so we're dealing with a gamut of different things that the kids are dealing with, and they have special education teachers who specifically work one-on-one in those areas. So we don't make them feel alien, but we help them to feel included.
I love the staff here. I mean, every time I've had a problem, I've always felt comfortable talking to someone. There's always been someone with open arms to listen to me and just be supportive and try to figure out with a solution, not, you know, just not concentrate on the problem. It's really changed my thinking in a lot of ways.
But this is more than a circle of support. This is full support. It means in mental health issues, it means in if they need counseling, it means if they need housing, it means if they need clothing, it means if they need food. We are here to support them. And the best food of all is when they learn to feed themselves.
And restorative justice means if they do something wrong, we don't run them out the door and say, you've been expelled for 3 days. It means we sit down and say, you're a member of society. As a member of society, here's the people that your action has hurt. We need to restore you into the environment you live and not suspend you.
And then the punitive side, it's always looking at what someone did to someone. In restorative justice, what you're looking at is how what was done affects individuals within that community.
If they walk around saying, I come from a bad environment, my life is miserable, they're going to stay there. But if they understand they're a welcome member of society, but society has rules and regulations. And if you err, that's not the end of the world, but you have to restore yourself back into community.
And I think that's the biggest difference in restorative justice and punitive justice, in that we as a community have decided that everyone in our community is valuable.
Because in order to teach your child to be respectful, you have to first teach them that they would like to be respected as well.
You know, one of my favorite questions to ask them is, when you're not told what to do, what do you like to do? You know, and they'll say video games. Then you have to dig a little farther. Well, besides video games, what else do you like to do when no one tells you what to do? And based on what that answer is, I try to incorporate that into their schooling. At Paladin Academy, as long as if you can argue with me that there's an educational experience you can learn from that, I can argue with the teachers and staff to try and figure out how to get credit for you.
And once we're able to pinpoint your interest, you become self-motivated because you found something that someone is supporting you, and it's something that you like.
And the Paladin Academy has, helped me out with getting credit for, managing rappers that I manage. I did a project for my overall label on the organization and all the financing and, business aspect of the label. And then I also have done some graphic design work for CDs and flyers, which I also have gotten credit for as well. So all that stuff, you put that all together and it helps, a lot with getting your credits done.
Everyone can be motivated. It's how you get them to be motivated. We're the only certified work-based learning school that's associated with a charter school in the state of Minnesota at this time. Students who hold a job, they work 15 hours a week, they turn their pay stubs, they fill out the required paperwork, and you're attending these classes, we call them career classes. In these classroom settings, you learn how to get a job, keep a job, job safety, job skills, resume building, mock interviews, and what's life outside of high school. There's a lot of career exploration in that classroom. Maybe you're doing assessments to figure out what do you like and how does that relate to a career field. And then if you turn your pay stubs in, you get 1 credit a quarter just for working. One of the coolest things I think about our school is the experiential learning. That's where we'll talk about Mount Rushmore, for example, and then we'll go camping in the Black Hills for a week.
All school field trips, we go to the movies, we went bowling, to Grand Slam, skating, did a lot of fun stuff.
And that, not only do we do these overnight 1-day to 10-day excursions, we've gone to Costa Rica, France, Italy, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C. And when I have students in my office with a parent, and they're kind of giving me this dazzled look like, they get high school credit for that? Absolutely. You're not going to tell me you're going to go to Boundary Waters and learn about nature and science, how to build a fire. You're getting FIED credit because you're paddling a canoe. Washington, D.C., you want to talk about history? Go to Washington, D.C.
Last year we took a field trip out to Yellowstone. We had one individual that just all of a sudden a whole new world opened up to him. He saw things that he never thought he was going to see.
And he graduated from going on that trip. That he did an extended project from its experiences and what he learned from going on that trip.
He came back and went to Yellowstone to get a job for the summer. We changed his life because we exposed him to something different.
We have a student council here, and I'm the vice president of it. And it's just really cool because in regular high school, I wouldn't see myself on the student council because I didn't really feel accepted within the students. But here, they look at me as their role model, and it's just a total 180.
This is Paladin's first year of student council, and I am the president of student council. So that might seem kind of crazy after everything that I'm telling you. And we even came to plan our first prom that Paladin is having this year. So I give props to my student council and all the teachers here that have supported us with that group.
Oh my God, it means a lot to me. Me and my boyfriend can go to prom. It took me a long time to talk him into it, but I finally got him to go to prom with me. I'm so happy. Oh my God, I'm gonna be so pretty.
We have stories every day of kids that, you know, basically defy the odds.
And people say, you know, why keep bothering them? Or why do this? Or why have them in this class? Or just throw them out? Or just, you know, I mean, put them in detention. I mean, every child has a right to an education, do they not? And when you don't understand the trauma and the drama that these children are dealing with on a daily basis, and you may say, well, that doesn't belong in my classroom, where does education belong? And what are we as teachers, as instructors, as those who are chosen to transfer skills onto these youth so that they become the leaders and the presidents and the teachers of the tomorrows? They are tomorrow. But they have to know that, and we show them that.
First of all, each and every one of them has the power to be successful. And once we can get that into their heart, then being employable is no problem.
I'm really excited for my future now. I actually have something ahead of me now.
So with or without my mom and dad, I still gotta stand strong and do what's best for me and my daughter and take care of her and give her the life that I never had.
I applied to MCTC to start doing PSEO. I'm really enforcing that I want to study law. I want to become a lawyer.
I got a call from Argosy that they have a nice program for the canine cop training that I wanted to do, and with how low subsidized my mom and I are, that I could probably get it for free or even half of a 4-year degree. In the process of that, I'm hoping to go back to the military and get some extra money and just do stuff like that so I can make sure that my family's taken care of and I finally get to visit hopefully some of the places that I've dreamed about going.
I want to go to college to be a medical assistant and then maybe later be a pediatrician. After Paladin, I'd like to go to college and be a corrections officer. I want to change my life around for the better and actually be somebody. Prove to everyone that I can do it.
We're here because we're moving on. Never go back like the one song you play over and over, and then out of nowhere, you decide to move on to a new song. Moving on to keep on moving up. Up, up, and up to where the sky is never the limit.